Hello and welcome to episode 25 of Chapter 1. We're already off topic. 3 women, 1 podcast. If you love Planet Fitness and gondoliers, you've come to the right place. I'm Mary.
I'm Catherine.
I'm Elizabeth.
And tonight we go deeper into Riftborne as we discuss chapters 27 through 40. But first, what is everyone having this evening?
So we're mixing it up in the tea department. So we got these like Southern Breeze cold brews. They're pre-sweetened and you use like cold water. So I still am using a teapot. I got cold water in a little teapot. And we have like our little teacups and saucers. Mm-hmm. I am starting off with raspberry.
I have a peach tea.
And then we'll be rolling through. I got a half and half. It's got like lemon. And then I got an original. But, and then our little snack, I did Earl Grey scones with a lavender glaze.
It's the breakfast bar of the UK.
We convinced Elizabeth she could cheat on her fast.
Well, I'm going to just have to do scones every week until Lent's over.
It's just a triangle bar. That's all.
It is. It's a breakfast bar. That's all it
is.
is. It's semantics.
Yes.
We're winning.
I'm only having one, and I've been really good. I've had my breakfast bar in the morning. I had it at lunch. It's the only thing I've had. So
She's fine.
We're going with it.
I will say, I feel like, the recipe told me to put the lavender glaze on top while it was warm. I feel like that's not what I was supposed to do. Because it's not like sitting. It absorbed. Which, yum, I'm sure. I mean, it's in there. It's on it. You just can't see it. But I did try them just to make sure, because I never want to feed her something and it's not good. And so I did try one, and they are good. So it worked out.
It's fine.
I was gonna say, you made it. I'm sure it's fine. I've never had anything of yours where I was like, ooh.
Well, listen.
Well, there was the brownies.
That's true. But that was from a box. So anything from scratch, she's fine. Just don't make her make it out of a box.
We'll never let you live that down.
It wasn't a shining moment for me. But this past Sunday, I'd had this recipe for a lavender tea cake because I had ordered some culinary lavender specifically because I was wanting to try some things with the lavender. Actually, specifically, I ordered it for these scones because these scones look really good. But I also had a recipe that I had pinned for a lavender tea cake, and so I was like, I'm gonna make it. Taste was good, but I did overbake it. It was very dry. I still had it, but I threw it away. James was like, you're not going to feed her that soap cake. And I was like, no, it's too dry. But no, I did have James. So my husband is very much like, if it's not chocolate chip, he don't want it, okay? He's not one to just try new things in the dessert department. And he tried the lavender cake, and he was like, it just tastes like someone sprayed soap into my mouth. And I was like, it doesn't. And he was like, it tastes like soap. And I ate it with some tea, and I very much enjoyed it, but I didn't think that I didn't feel like it tasted soapy. He's like, I like the glaze. He did have a glaze on top. He was like, I like the part with the glaze because it's kind of helping to drown out the soap, but it's still soapy. And I was like, so I overbaked it and it tastes soapy. I was like, maybe I should have steeped the lavender longer. And he was just like, it would have been more soapy. And I was like, maybe I should have steeped it less. I was like, I feel like I followed the instructions the way it wanted me to. So, you haven't had that.
I have not.
So you might not have liked that. I was hesitant because when this had a lavender glaze to it, I'm like, what if the glaze tastes like soap?
Did James try one of these?
He didn't try these, but he did try the glaze because because the glaze is what has the lavender in it, not the scones themselves. And he tried it, and he was just like, this comes through fine. And he was
so he just wants the hint of lavender. It's probably just too much in the cake.
Well, I did not steep it as long as it asked me to. It wanted me to steep it for 10 minutes. And I steeped it for 5. I think I halved it. So, I could taste the lavender, but it wasn't, anything overwhelming. Anyway, your turn. I've talked about it.
So I'm doing a new tea that I picked up. I'm doing this cherry blossom green tea by Harney and Sons, and it's real good. I'm enjoying it. Must have been mind melding without even knowing it, because mine is a London Fog
Dang, that looks
cake,
good.
and it's got a lavender cream cheese frosting on it.
Have you tried it yet?
I did. Funny story.
Does it taste like soap?
No, it's delicious. Chuck tried it. He loved it. I ate it last night. I went back and had seconds. I liked it so much. It's delicious. And you make a meringue for the cake, and so it's like super spongy and soft, and I love it. But I did find out I also ordered culinary lavender, except this recipe has you can kind of see it. You just put it in the cream cheese frosting, right? And it really comes through. It tastes very lavendery. But here's the thing. Apparently, you can have a bit of a sensitivity to it.
No.
And I ate a lot of it last night, and I got super sick this morning. And I was like, what is wrong with me? And then I looked it up, because I was like, once the lavender seeds were, like the little lavender flower thing parts were out, I was fine. And I was like, so apparently you can be, so I will be eating around my frosting, even though the frosting is freaking delicious. Actually, I think I'm probably going to still eat the frosting, just not the lavender pet, like little things in it. Just going to eat around them.
That's hilarious.
Because I don't care. It's really good, and I like it anyway.
Look, we're gonna get a text tomorrow morning saying that didn't work.
I was miserable all night.
I don't care.
Then you're
Worth
gonna
it.
be like, worth it.
Worth it. Even this morning, I was like, it was like 2 hours. I just felt like crap. And then I was like, but afterwards, I was like, I really want that cake.
Did you hold out until tonight?
I did. I was really busy. I had errands to run today, and I had to go. My car was due for service, so I had to go do that.
I feel like I've barely talked to you this week.
I know.
Same for you. I was
I
so
just
excited.
saw you Saturday.
I know. But
I've
I
had
mean, like,
something like every day this week. I like cannot catch a break.
Right?
Because
You did come
I've
over.
and all of it's stuff that like takes a lot, like a large chunk of my day. Plus, I have the other stuff that I have to get done, that I was trying to get done, like around all of these other things. So I've just been busy, but accomplished, but busy.
I just missed you.
I know.
And when I was FaceTiming you on Saturday, Dad was standing, because like I took, we were like chatting or whatever, and Dad comes and stands in front of me, and he's like, and I was like, hold on. I was like, she's showing me where she's gonna put her garden.
He's like, we're doing stuff. All right, so we are going to
He was
be
cranky.
diving in to Riftborne. I will say, I did feel like these chapters picked up quite a bit, because I actually procrastinated. I did not read these I didn't pick it up and read it for several days. And then I read it all in like all the chapters in a couple hours.
They're really short. Like
That
I feel
was
like
me
it's an
today.
It's an easy read.
I did the recap today, but like I did the reading yesterday, but I just like flew through it.
I accidentally read a little farther. Not by much, only about 2 chapters. 'Cause,
I was
you
gonna
know,
say,
on
I read a
Kindle,
little further.
You're just flipping through on Kindle. And then I got to like chapter 40. I read chapter 42. I got to chapter 43 and was like, what chapter am I supposed to stop? I was like,
I read just a
40.
touch further, like 2 pages, and I still don't have the answer that I wanted. I just wanted to know what the hell was going on at the end. I'm like, what are you doing now, bro?
Well,
Because as much as I did actually enjoy this set of chapters more than some of the previous sets of chapters, I still had some issues. A lot of it was character-driven issues, though. I was
I
like,
also felt like we really
And it might be on
skirted over
purpose.
some things.
yeah,
Like after a tearful goodbye to Asta, and I was like,
bye.
sayonara.
That's just like, Asta's my favorite. And Mary's over here like, bye.
There's
no.
several. There's
It was just the fact that it had like I'm like this is your person, and we're like after a tearful goodbye.
Yeah.
He's
Well,
gone.
there's been a few of those where things are kind of like really glossed over. There's also been things where you're just told instead of, and I'm like, why are we just being told this? It happened with Briar when all of a sudden
Right.
they're like, we're on the outs. It's just like, yeah, they're on the outs, and I'm like, one, you could have showed that to us, and 2, like you didn't show it, so like I'm having trouble figuring out. I'm like, should I be buying into this as well? I don't know what to think. Like, I don't know where to
And
be on
also
that.
they're on the outs because Briar was dumb while he was drunk, and he doesn't understand why they would be upset. Basically, it's kind of, and I'm like, that just
Yeah,
doesn't
and
seem like
again,
his
because we're not
character.
shown any of it, we're just told that by the authors, and we're not shown that in any of Briar's behavior or in his conversations. I am struggling to figure out what the fuck is going on. Like,
Yeah, like he was mad because
I'm like, am I supposed to actually be buying in that this is what he's upset about? Is there something more going on in the background? Like, I have questions, and it's going to show up in the recap because I had questions when I was reading it and when I did the recap because at this point I trust no one. Like a lot of my, except the only thing I trust is Baylor sucks. But other than that, no clue. Okay, so last week we ended with everybody, they went to the club, and then they all took some elixirs, and they got a little high and trippy, and Fia was seeing colors by the end of the chapter. Okay, so that's sort of where we were at. Since they were so intoxicated at the end of the night as we start into our new chapters, they decide, as they're going to go home, they decide to stay at the compound. Rain's like, hey, you girls can stay with me. It's probably safer. We just all go back together. Smart move. I agree. But once they get back, they run into the general, who is irritated that they've all gone out and become inebriated, and sends them all to bed, except for Fia, who he asks to speak with privately. And when he pulls her aside into like a little private area, he chastises her for being irresponsible. And during that argument, he ends up pinning her up against the wall, but then nothing happens.
And also, like, random moment for that to happen. Because
Right. Like, there was no lead up of tension to it. It's just like all of a sudden. And then this is my issues throughout the book are I feel like you're not getting enough showing me why things are happening. You're just telling me, and then they don't always match. I'm having a lot of trouble with the general because like I can't get a read on him at all. And again, I don't know, maybe we're just not supposed to get a read on him, but like also I'd like to know if like
she also threw in the nickname Blood Clot out of nowhere.
I know. I got that in here and it was hilarious. No background to it at all either. Not her thinking about it. Nothing.
I was like,
Did yeah. I was like, wow, that was
I mean, I connected the dots pretty quick and it was pretty hilarious. But I was also like, did I miss something? When did we nickname her that?
It was a joke.
I literally read the sentence and I was like, what? And then I reread it and I was like, I'm there. I've arrived. Like, it did take me a second.
So he pins her up against the wall. Nothing ends up happening though. He doesn't pursue anything. He just apparently got a little frisky for a minute and then changed his mind. Fia is like kind of turned on by the whole thing, but she blames it on the drugs, right? She's like, definitely isn't me wanting the general. It's just because I'm got a little ecstasy in me. So then he tells her to drink water and basically just leaves her. And it's clear to Fia that Fia is like, she's attracted to the general. Like you've known since like chapter 1 when she sees him and she describes him as being like super hot. But like, it's very clear she's attracted to the general. But she is using everything in that as an excuse of why she is not attracted to the general.
I hate
we
him.
gotta talk about outfits because the outfits are not matching.
Wait till we get fully initiated here, because I reread it like 3 times and I was like, pirates? What is going on? Why are we now
And
pirates?
then she gets like this.
Was it for the gondolier?
This black strappy dress later and that's skin tight, and I'm like, wait.
Also, why would I had issues with that
I'm like,
too.
it's giving very modern.
But also, like, why was his cover? You went shopping? Do you know her at all? Like, have you met her for a half a second? This is the cover story for her. She went shopping. And
To be fair, none of them really questioned it. I mean, they were like, what? And then Asha's like, you went without me? And then, they were just like getting
they
around.
bought it.
Like, they bought it.
They
like,
bought it.
it just, I'm like, okay.
But
Whatever.
anyway, I didn't mean to skip ahead, but I just like, and it wasn't just that. Even the clothes, the dress that she wore when they went and got drunk. I mean, I remember that being kind of more modern too. I'm like, well,
Yeah.
But I thought maybe, I don't know what time period we're living.
Because didn't he say it was like a square? Didn't you say it was like a square?
Well, yeah, but it was also like, was
We
it
were
below
like,
the
Lord,
knee
give
or
her
above the
some
knee?
pearls. Just make her Jackie O. Like, that's what, I mean, that's like what I was picturing.
I was like, it's Italy. There's gondolas.
I don't even know anymore.
It's Italy.
I'm just gonna have to rely on the fan art at this point.
Yeah.
Someone else can brain it up for me.
The
So
ruffles would crack me up. I'm not gonna lie.
During training the next day, they're very hungover. And Baylor picks a fight with Draven because he wants to know what his focus is, because he's never revealed what that focus is. Baylor ends up punching him and making Draven bleed, and then his blood makes Baylor like go paralyzed, which I was like, you know what, good riddance. Which he comes out of it pretty quick. So he's like, he's all right. You be fine. Mercer was the best too, because Mercer was also just like, he'll be all right. Shake it off.
Walk it off. Oh wait. You're like, like.
But you can't. I mean, you know what? You asked for it. This is what you get.
So Baylor's sort of having a shit day, and he decides to take it out on Fia. And he apparently had overseen the little interaction between the general and Fia the night before. And he accuses Fia and the general of sleeping together, which would be like a huge no-no, not only just because she's Riftborne, but because he's like a general, and that would be, yeah. So it's a mess. So Mercer is like pissed about it because I don't want to say it's treasonous, but it's like, you just don't do that. Like,
It's borderline treasonous.
right. So Mercer ends up calling training and just like shuts everything down. Fia goes to like her one-on-one training with the general, and he's once again late. So she's like just sitting there trying to work on her stuff by herself, kind of getting in her own head about the general. But she's having decent success, kind of messing with her focus more on her own. He does show up just late, and he's distracted again. And so we still don't know the general's focus. And twice now in training, it has been specifically described as his eyes glazing over. There's a difference in being distracted and like your eyes glazing over. And I feel like that's going to be important later. Like that might be part of his focus.
He's like a mind reader or something.
I can't
Or
comment
like-
because I know what it is. Unfortunately, those 2 extra chapters
Did reveal that.
it answered some questions. So
Is
you'll
it like
find out.
Okay,
I'm over here like, is he a wolf? Like,
well, I'm like, can he communicate like at a distance with like the rest of the group?
I'm not saying anything. Y'all can read it and find out.
Because he always afterwards has like some big
Let me
reveal.
put it this way. I was not impressed.
Okay.
I was not
wolf.
impressed.
So just overall, we're just not impressed with the general as a male main character.
I mean, when you find out, you're just going to be like,
You're like, okay.
it wasn't really, in my opinion, it wasn't really original.
does it have to do with the eyes?
Does it have to do with the eyes glazing over? At least give us that much.
I don't think so.
Well, what the fuck are his eyes glazing over for?
Because he was
Because
distracted.
he was distracted and daydreaming. I don't think he had. No. I would say no. He doesn't have to. This would be spoilery. Do you want to know? Well,
If you're
I was
listening,
just
though, and you want
I'm
to comment,
like wondering, like, if it's something unimpressive, is it something we've already seen, or is it something brand new?
she's just gonna have to tell us after. But I will ask. So, listeners, if you're listening and you want to like make a comment somewhere in the comment section, do you read the whole book and then watch each one of these, each episode as they drop, or do you read along at like each week, like follow along, and so you're not reading ahead? Because that would be good to know. How
I
much
didn't
of a
need to
spoiler
read
we can
ahead.
spoil?
it's just Kindle. You mentioned this
said
before. Kindle
cat-
really is easy because you're just like swiping. You're not.
Yeah,
really,
or if you're audio booking, like that would
Oh,
be
yeah.
so easy to get way
because
ahead.
half the time, some audiobooks they don't say like chapter 40. They're just
Yeah.
like reading.
They're just going.
For me, like, I feel like whenever I'm doing an ebook, it's like, that's why they're easy to knock out, because you're just rolling.
You're
you
just
know?
rolling. Yeah.
And honest, I think
It's like
for
a
me,
doom scroll situation.
Well, and
it
for-
is. It's doom scrolling.
for me with when I'm on my Kindle, I get like pretty much all my arcs in Kindle, and I think it's because like in this, I am tempted to occasionally just like sneak peek ahead a little bit, right? But you can't do that in the Kindle. And by sneak peeking ahead, then it slows me down a little bit because like maybe a question got answered, and so I'm not as like frantic to want to know. But in the Kindle, you can't look ahead.
You really
So you're
can't.
just flying reading because you want to know.
Yeah.
So I do think it helps with that. Because I have very poor self-control when it comes to reading, and Chuck yells at me because all the time I'll pick up a book and read the last page first. He's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I just want to know." Last lines are important.
Last lines are important.
I still want to know how they got there.
Right, I'm gonna read the whole book. I just want to know sometimes. I don't always do it, but there are times I will flip to the end and be like, I just want to know. It's all right. I'm only spoiling it for myself.
Well, that was like me with 1984 when I first read 1984, because everyone always tells
What
you
a
like
book
the
to
last
spoil.
like the last 4 words or like the last line of the book is like one of the most whatever and literary.
You're like, what is
whatever.
this line?
And I was like, well, dang, what is it? And then I read it, and obviously I wasn't very moved because I hadn't read the rest of it. And like, I was like, this isn't really hitting the way that they said that it would.
Read.
I do remember being shocked
Institutionalized.
when I actually read it. I was like, whoa, what?
Spoiler alert for 1984 that's been out for a long time, so.
I'm up here like, it's a classic.
Well, we just watched Chuck and I. So Chuck just finished reading The Count of Monte Cristo, and there's a newer series done that Sam Claflin did that he stars in as The Count of Monte Cristo, and so we just finished watching it, and it was really good. But I actually have not read The Count of Monte Cristo, and so
I haven't read it.
Did it spoil it?
Well, it's the whole story.
Right? Yeah. Yeah.
A special guest on the podcast.
Special guest.
Welcome, Misty. What are your thoughts on the book?
She's like, I'm just a
I
girl.
just want to give kisses.
She's like, I'm just so happy to be a part.
All right, back
Yeah,
to our
no, that's awesome that you watched that. I watched the John Wayne Gacy tapes. I'm over here like,
We very much had a different week.
I watched Bridgerton. I finally finished.
Oh, I need to finish it. I haven't
We
finished
all
it.
traded, I feel like. Happened. I'm watching Bridgerton. She's over here like John Wayne Gacy.
dude, that guy was the worst. They were, well, I mean, we all know that, but like, they were on a tape because he got the death penalty, and they have him recording. He was like, the irony is that I killed 33 people and you can only kill me once, and then he just busts out laughing. I was like,
Yeah.
dang. I was like, this guy.
Didn't he also, I don't know if, I can't remember where I heard it. I don't know if it was from a documentary or if this was from a remake, like a movie, but wasn't he like, I'm going to heaven? I was like, I beg to differ.
I didn't hear that, but I will say, I thought that him being a clown would be more of a part of the documentary. Like, I watched, what is it? It's like 3 or 4 episodes, and like, you only talked about him being a clown, like, a little bit.
Because he just hired, like, boys to come to his house.
And he just kill him and
To,
bury him in the
to
crawl
do,
space.
like, projects, and he killed him right away.
It was interesting. And like, everyone that was talking about him, they were like, he was just this arrogant, like, and I don't know. And I'm like, I'm looking at him, and I'm like, okay. Like, especially him in the clown suit, and I'm like, you had every right to be arrogant.
Well, the new
Obviously.
Bridgerton season was fantastic.
you
I
look like
enjoyed it.
I'm gonna finish it. I'll probably try to finish it this week. I think we're supposed to get I think we're supposed to get a bunch of storms.
Stayed up together.
Well, I did read the book, so it's not a huge spoiler. Did you watch it? Did you watch it through the credits to the wedding?
Yep.
Yes. Yes.
I sure did. But I will say too, there were a few moments in there, because I had just read the book, and there were a few moments where they really went rogue. I was like watching it with my husband, and I was like, I actually don't know what's going to happen. I was like, this is different.
I did get Justin to watch the last bit of it, so that was fun.
Did he like it?
No.
That is shocking. That is shocking news.
He really wanted to play Battlefield.
In a real turn of events, Justin did not enjoy it.
He, you know what? He always struck me as a Regency man, so I'm just floored. Like,
But you know the John Wayne Gacy tapes? He'll watch that with me.
have you
So-
watched that?
No, I haven't.
Oh my
I should.
god!
Apparently
Like,
I should.
watch it. Like, it just. Of course, my husband, he was like, I don't want to watch He was like, because like there's true crime and then there's like John Wayne Gacy. Do you know that he was put to death on my birthday? Like the day I was born, he died and I was birthed.
What are we saying here? Did he leave one body? And go into...
Like, no. I'm like, how do we feel about reincarnation?
Like, how do we feel about it? I mean, and now he loves to knit
And drink tea.
and drink tea.
Turned over a new leaf.
Listen,
That's not what I meant. What I meant
left
was
as a
my
man
poor
and
mom.
came back as a woman.
My poor mom. She was over here dealing
To be
with...
fair, he would have hated that.
Oh, yeah. Well, according to him, he wasn't, according to him, he wasn't gay. And I was like, okay, I feel like that's false. He said he wasn't gay, that it was all, it was just sexual. That to actually be gay, he would have had to have had actual, like, feelings. And he didn't. That it was purely sexual, so that it means that he wasn't gay. I don't know. According to him, he wasn't gay. So I was just like, sounds like something.
He's like, as long as I ain't catching feelings, I ain't gay.
He's like, I'm not gay
not
if
real.
I kill him after.
There's no evidence of the gayness. Like he just was saying that if you have sex with somebody and like if I have sex with a man and I don't have sorry. Did you see that?
Yeah. I'm getting a little concerned.
I'm a little concerned too. Like,
I mean, we're not doing a seance. I don't understand why the lights are doing the thing that they're doing.
he's mad that you assume that he's gay.
It was just yeah. It was just very like it was just his little thought process on that was interesting. I was just like, it sounds like you're a gay guy who didn't want to be and decided to kill these boys is what it sounds like.
I'm no psychiatrist, but I'm gonna assume that he's like he was very angry about his feelings and frustrated, and he was taking it out on others.
Yeah.
Also a psychopath.
Okay, let's talk about Riftborne.
Circling back to Riftborne. Okay, so we were with the general. He was distracted. We were talking about the glazed over eyes.
That apparently mean nothing.
I don't know why we
It
keep
just
talking
means
about
he's
it.
distracted.
So afterwards, he tells Fia that their one-on-one training has been canceled, basically forever.
Indefinitely.
Yeah, going forward, because he has to return back to the border because the Wraiths have now found ways around the guards. And he warns her to be careful while he's gone because he's not going to be there to protect her. And he seems like, I don't know. I have very weird feelings about the general because his overprotectiveness doesn't seem to make sense with a lot of the other stuff that he does, other than to me, it just is chalked up that he wants to use her, and so he doesn't want anything to happen to her because then he can't use her. But I don't know. Hopefully we get more in these next sets of chapters that Elizabeth's already kind of got a sneak peek of, so I'm hoping we get more answers
It was
towards
like only
the
2
end.
chapters over.
We also, I mean, it's a trilogy. It's a 3-book series, so I don't expect all of my questions to be answered in the first book. But it would be nice to at least have a general idea. But
A general idea.
punning it up here on accident. All right, so we end up getting another dream scene. It's really short though. All it is she's like in darkness, and then like magic that she describes as very similar to her magic is like those little tendrils that she can see is pulling on her and reaching out and like trying to get her to like follow it, which she does not do, and then she wakes up. So it wasn't very helpful, but I feel like those are all going to be little Easter eggs that are going to lead us up to probably book 2.
I agree.
So then Asta writes to Lady, so is it in the freaking thing, the guide, Salil?
I've just been saying that because I can't easily just flip. I mean, I'd have to like go out of the screen. I'd have to stop my flow to get to the little.
It's not in there. So we're going with Salil.
That's what I've been saying.
Okay. So Lady S, who like that's the same last name as Baylor, which I don't, like hopefully people clock that. And so actually Fia starts to kind of panic because she assumes it's Baylor's mom, but it's not. It's apparently somehow a relation. But
I
it's
think
like,
it's his mother's sister.
Yeah, it's
or
like
something like that. Like they're
Yeah,
or they're cousins or like they're related. But
it's two separate sides of the family. Like they're family, but they're like two sides of the family, and it's not Baylor's side. And they apparently have very different views, right? So you've got like Baylor's side, who's like very anti-Riftborne, very royalist, whatever, and then you've got this other side who's just like seems very open and kind, and whatever. So Asta feels comfortable reaching out to her for a job, and by the end, Fia seemed pretty okay with it as well. And then back at the apothecary, Ma is upset because the Arcanite that she was trying to bury with the plants, hoping it would help them grow because it's supposed to like do stuff like that, and she'd been experimenting with, it killed all of her plants. So, which is not helpful when you're an apothecary. You need plants to make all your stuff. So like she's upset. Also, like, what is going on with the Arcanite?
Also, maybe instead of putting them with your rare plants, with the guy that only comes once every 6 months, put it with like some dandelions. Well, I mean,
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, you know what I'm
Like
saying?
a rose bush or something.
Right.
Something you may like something that's not rare and you're not going to get again for a while.
Right.
But I mean, to be fair, Ma did not think it was going to kill them all off. So
and to be fair, she was told it was going to help them grow.
yeah. So later, Fia needs to leave for training and go to the compound, but she's not quite done with her work. Ma insists she needs to stay and finish what she's doing. They end up getting into like this really big fight, which I think mostly just seems to stem from them both having hurt feelings. Your house is possessed at the moment. I don't know what is happening. You pissed off John Wayne Gacy real bad. He is haunting your house.
I'm pretty sure it's that monkey you have up there, that face. He's literally looking at the lights. I know he's doing it.
Did you bring something back from your grandparents' house? Did you bring the weird stuff from the room upstairs?
Not that one, no. She
I
has
brought a blue,
this
it's like
little
a blue
blue
willow monkey.
monkey, and he's like a plant holder. But y'all got to see his face.
I'm not flipping this laptop.
You don't want to get him down? You want me to get him down?
Go get him.
Oh, go get him. We got to see the monkey.
Oh, look at this face. This is what's staring at me and staring at the lights. You see.
You saw that and you were like, that's coming home with me.
No, actually, no. Actually, no, that's not how that happened. So, a lot of what I have now is due to maybe if he gets to sit with us.
You were like, you know what? That's going to look great.
No. Listen. What is she going to do?
I mean. Look at that detail.
Listen, okay, so it wasn't like that. I didn't just see it. It was like, that's coming home with me. When I was a little girl, look, past Catherine really had a lot of weird taste, and that's affecting me now as an adult. When I was
Emo Catherine's really coming out.
Nina has had this monkey for like my whole life. I never remember her not having this. She didn't even hardly care about this thing because I loved it, and I always said, when the time comes, Nina, I want the monkey. And when I was a teenager, she was like, I wish you would just go ahead and take that monkey. I don't even care about that monkey. Just take it. Like for real.
Because
And I was
she
like,
knew
no,
it
no,
was
no.
possessed.
I was like, no, I'm going to wait. And so now I have the monkey. So I wasn't going to just leave the monkey after all that and
Oh my gosh, you can get the matching, like, look at that guy.
Mm-hmm.
It's like such beautiful.
It's a whole collection.
It's such beautiful detail everywhere.
Oh my gosh, you can get him reading a book.
Uh-huh.
And then you look.
I
at
know
the
what you're
face
getting for
and you're
Christmas.
like, what happened?
Don't get me more of them. Don't get me. But what was actually really funny about it is that I grabbed the monkey because I knew that it was something that, I had on my list, my whole life. So I still grabbed it. If only because of just the memories of all the conversations I had with Nina about it,
Right.
Anyway,
Back to Riftborne. We got to get rolling.
Sorry.
So they end up getting in this big fight, Ma and Fia, in which you do get a little bit of Ma's backstory where her brother left to go join the guard, which is some of those like hurt feelings and abandonment issues I think that are starting to come up. But In the end, Ma says she doesn't need Fia there. She's just going to get a replacement for her, which hurts Fia's feelings as well. And Fia ends
And
up
it's
just
not like Ma even did it,
yeah.
which I found interesting.
So, well, you knew she wasn't.
Well, of
She
course,
didn't
but I
mean it.
like,
Her feelings were hurt.
yeah.
So, then at training, when she goes back to training the next day, or when she goes back to training from the apothecary, Baylor's not there. Like, at all.
Interesting.
Aaron runs into her. Aaron, which was our FedEx delivery man, he's delivering to the compound, and she runs into him, and she realizes she never told Aaron or Jacquelina that she joined the Guard or what she's doing. And after her fight with Ma and everything else, she's just having like a shit day. She feels like a shitty friend, like is just not having a great time. Since things are escalating with the race, they move from conditioning work, which was just a lot of suicide drills, to sparring. But since the wraiths can siphon air from their lungs, they start by practicing having Mercer, who has wind focus, sucking up all the air, I guess, out of, like basically suffocating them. Like
I
making
wouldn't
everything-
I wouldn't have expected that it worked that way, but that was interesting.
Yeah. So during Fia's turn, she ends up panicking, and her magic her focus starts to come in and like go defensive and like starts to break loose, and she panics and ends up blacking out. And she's the only one in the group that blacks out, so she's a little like embarrassed and also feels like she's the weak link of the group.
She is. I'm just kidding.
She's the worst. She ends up waking up. She's in the medical healers unit and is being treated by Mercer's husband. And I think that's like the only time, other than for like a did we even see Mercer's husband at the ball? I don't know.
Yeah, he was. Well, it was a line
Briefly.
because I did look at that when.
I knew,
When she was
I think the
pulled
general
away.
mentioned something about like, you guys are like
I'm
past
sorry
your
to pull
honeymoon.
you away from your husband.
Because that's where I clocked that
the
Mercer
babysit.
was probably gay. But so when she's leaving from the healing unit, she runs into the blonde that keeps taking their blood for the blood oaths, and she gets to see where the blood is stored, which comes into play later. 4 weeks pass.
Questions.
4 weeks passed, and they start doing hand-to-hand combat. Baylor in this time has never returned to their unit for any training, anything. He's just sort of like dropped off the face of the planet. Nazul, who was Baylor's best friend buddy,
Bestie.
has just sort of like kind of kept to himself since Baylor left and has been real quiet. Rain catches up with Fia and tells her how excited she is for a party that's apparently happening in the woods. And they get to like play with their focus outside of the compound. Fia, on the flip side, is not excited for said party, and she feels like it's irresponsible and dangerous for them all to be doing. Asta shows up. She's super excited. She got a letter back from the Lady S, Soleil, and she was offered a job and is to move into her estate. I thought it was odd that a dressmaker is going to live at the estate. I was like, does she need to be living there? But like, whatever, for the plot.
Mary's like, bye.
See you, girl.
Finally, bye.
Honestly, in this set of chapters, I don't dislike Asta. I had no issues. She's getting herself a man. She's got herself a job. She's not being, she has like one time she's sort of a bitch to Fia. But other than that, she's fine.
But at the same time, Fia was kind of overstepping. Like, you're not going to tell someone who they can and can't.
That's not even the time I felt like she was being a bitch. It was like, I think it was when they first show up at that like forest party and she's like, don't be grumpy.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
She did say don't be grumpy again at this.
So Asta shows up. She's super excited about her new job. Rain, also being excited for Asta, decides that to celebrate, she should just come out with them and invites her to that party. And Fia is like, not thrilled.
She's mad.
She's mad because she's worried that it's going to put Asta in a dangerous situation.
It does.
It does. She was right. She was right. Mercer announces that an investigative party that was attacked during a mission, all of them were killed. It's discovered that Gentry and Val, which are the two guards we liked at the ball that were sitting with Asta
Yeah.
and
We liked
Fia,
it.
they were very kind to them, was going to walk them home, but then they got deployed right away. Both of those were in that investigative party, and they were also killed. So if you were hoping they would come back, they're not.
They
gonna.
don't.
They were George R.R. Martin real fast.
That's funny.
During training, they had to spar with each other, finally. And so they go to the party that evening in the woods. Everyone's drunk, and like playing with their magic, which just seems like not a great idea. I mean, they're young and young people are gonna do some dumb shit, but like this seems like
They're
real
like,
dumb.
I'm gonna drink and play with fire.
Briar ends up showing off his focus for the first time. He ends up making like a red carpet out of tree roots for them to walk in on.
It's very Briar. Okay.
Yeah. And later, Asta, she ends up getting separated from the group. And when Fia goes to find her, a surge of fire like blasts at Asta. And before Fia can even get to her to try to save her, Nazul jumps in front of her and uses his little shieldy shield skills, and he saves her. And he blocks. And then the fire ends up, it came from, shockingly, Baylor has showed back up with his new friend group.
Yay.
It was giving Draco Malfoy just being the worst to Hermione. Like, you mudblood.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Training for the ballet, Potter.
So he's got this whole, like, friend group that's also terrible and leans into his crap. And Fia confronts him, and so does actually Nazul. And they're calling him, Nazul's calling him out for being like a psychopath and being like an asshole. Baylor goes on to say basically a bunch of like, whatever racist is in this world frame, like whatever anti-Riftborne would be, that's what he's saying. He's just like, Sophia sends all of her friends away because they're all still like, they're like ready to tee up with her and like to fend with her, including Nazul, who's like ready to throw hands. But she's like, I'm going to deal with him on my own. She sends her friends away to like look after Asta, and her and Baylor get into it. Baylor's super grumpy because he got demoted. That's why he's not there anymore in their group. And so he's just being a jerk. And Fia and Baylor end up using their focus on each other. So Baylor throws his little fire at her, but before it can reach her, Fia uses her little mind thing. Except instead of melting his brain like she can, she like controls his mind, and she's able to pull his focus and make his focus stop, and she's able to tell him basically to leave, and he just walks out. And also it's this
call her anything. All he says to her is that her death will fortify the land.
And it's described as she's like floating in the air when she uses her focus, and that her eyes do some X-Men-y glowy thing.
Isn't it just weird? I feel like it's been maybe it's been a few months, and I know she has been practicing, but I'm like, she literally went from tendrils at the base of her spine to, I'm going to tell you what to do. I'm going to stop what you're doing and then control you. Now, she went from literally being the weakest link to being a threat, like 0 to 100 right there. Just
it
boom.
also, like, even when she works in the gym, she's just focusing on trying to, like, call these
when he was
out,
training, it's like she's just sitting there. They're sitting there. That's it. That's their training.
Well, and she's having trouble just like, she's sitting there and she's like making progress, but she's only like able to like get the tendrils to start like answering her. But then she has this whole thing where she can do like super badass stuff. So I'm like, that's a leap.
And it seems like really the tendrils only do anything for her when her senses are heightened, like when she's emotional.
Yeah.
Like, she's got to be pissed. She's got to be upset. Like, she's got to feel fear or in danger. You know, if she's just sitting in a gym, it seems like it just can't happen. It's just interesting to me that it would go from I lose control and I kill people to I have enough control over this to where I can figure out the, like, nuance of, like, the
And even
power.
after that, she gains, like, the control. I don't know. I guess she was in a high tense situation. But we'll get to that.
Yeah.
We'll come back.
So everyone's cheering and saying how badass Fia is when Mercer shows up and he ends up breaking up the party. I will say, through this, I'm starting to think that we had Nazul wrong. Because he's seeming to be an all right dude.
I'm a little concerned with Briar's turn of events of like
Yes.
being
I
offended.
have major issues with Briar right now.
Yeah.
Like
I
coming
feel
up.
like Briar's going to end up being one of those things where it's going to be a heartbreak for her because he's going to end up siding with the wrong side. I feel like in the
Yeah,
end it's going to
I
be one of
think he
those
might
things.
turn.
It's going to be a thing. I feel like. I don't know.
I don't know if it's going to be
Yeah.
jealousy, because obviously he said he would what he said because he was jealous, and then the fact that he got mad because Rain took her side instead of his. I'm like, this is really out of the blue.
There's not really a side to take. You were
Yeah.
just wrong. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, you know, you apologize and we move on. But it sounds like he apologized and then was like, wait, I was drunk, so
And so
it
we
really
didn't
shouldn't
get
be a
to
big
see
deal.
it.
I don't understand why he's upset.
These are things we didn't get to see. They were just told to us. We didn't get to see that interaction.
And we don't get any, again, this is where we don't get a lot of, like, we're not getting our characters actually doing these things and portraying these things. You're just told these things about these characters.
Because the thing is, it's not like the book is that long. Like, I mean, it's not, like, you know, it's not a novella, but I mean, you know, I feel like they could have, there are definitely fantasy books that are longer. I feel like they could have expanded on some of the things just to make it make sense.
Well, and I think there was ways to, like, maybe instead of telling the reader, just trusting that they would pick up on some cues and just have Briar start shifting in his behavior and, like, the things he's saying and his mannerisms, and you would pick up that, like, something's off versus just like this one
It's
line.
we're not
Yeah,
friends
yeah.
anymore, or it's strained. It's a strange
Yeah.
relationship.
So the next day at training, Mercer is punishing them with endless drills for having their little party. After, Mercer calls Fia over and takes her out, and Lyric is back from the border, takes her to meet up with Lyric. The general and Mercer tell her, I never got this, and it's never explained unless I missed it in both of my readings, but they tell her to make herself seen in the compound and then go meet with the general at the gym.
So what I'm thinking,
I thought something was going to happen to Baylor, and they didn't want them to, like, people to blame her for it. And so, like, they were going to go take care of business, the two of them.
I think what it is she wasn't supposed to be meeting with the general because this was outside of their regular training, and the general was basically trying to protect her and was telling her, like, it was kind of like a secret general meeting. And
Yeah.
so they didn't want, because everyone knows that she does train with the general, but on a
Yeah.
specific day of the week. And since this is not that, why would the general want to meet with her when this whole thing at this party had just happened?
And Baylor was basically insinuating that they were sleeping together, which is why she was having, you know, treatment, like
That's what
special
I'm thinking.
treatment.
It didn't make sense to me either, but I
So,
think that that's what it is.
That's what
Okay.
I'm thinking as well. It was kinda,
I mean, that makes sense. I was just, because at first I'm like, so they want her to be seen because something else is going to be happening behind the scenes
Right.
that they don't want her blamed for. But then nothing else happened. So I was like, what? Like, why does she need to be seen in the compound? But
I
so
think it's so people don't assume that she's with the general.
that makes sense. So she goes, she kind of walks around the compound for a little bit, and then she goes and she meets with the general. Lyric's pissed that she used her powers to mind control Baylor because it puts her at risk. Puts her at risk with the other guards, like everyone, including the king, because they're going to all view her as a threat because she can potentially get in and control them. And, like, that's a threat to everybody.
To be fair, I understand where he's coming from, but if
I
I,
do-
was her, I'd be like, I didn't even know I could do it till I did it.
Well, he is at the end. He is pretty, like, he's kind of proud of her, right? He's like, okay, that was pretty cool, but he's like also like,
Hold
that's scary.
aside. Good job. But
But
Not
now
the
you're a
time.
target.
So he wants her to downplay it and basically lie and say that she just intimidated him, like she wasn't controlling him, and they know Baylor's going to go along with it because Baylor is Baylor, and he doesn't want anybody to know that someone bested him, and so he wants her to hide the meeting. She's supposed to be leaving and meeting with Asta to go to some, like, dinner party at a restaurant for a celebration of her getting this job. So he tells her to lie to everyone and tells her that she went shopping, which was like, again, I was
Let's
just
talk
like,
about
we
the
talked about it a
skin.
little bit earlier, but I'm like,
Tight
shopping? This girl?
like the stuff that he bought for her, like
Tight dress. And again, I'm like,
hair
what?
cream, makeup,
What error are we?
Yeah.
Wait a
hair
minute.
cream, like, which is fine.
You
Okay.
need it for that
Like-
gondola ride. It could frizz up.
But what I'm saying is they have like anti-frizz hair cream.
Also,
Is
he
there-
didn't know where she was going because he grilled her on where she was going. And yet he bought her a dress?
Where were they going?
Where were they? They were just going to a restaurant. And so it's like, he didn't know that though. Like, what if she was just going back to the compound? She was just going to show up in some fancy ass dress and be like, I went shopping and put on makeup for funsies. Like, that seems like the least Fia thing to have happen.
But her friends bought it.
Yeah. So she goes to the dinner. At the dinner, Briar mentions her having the private training sessions with the general. Because apparently Rain, who swore she wouldn't tell anyone, blabbed and told Briar. And so Fia's irritated at Rain. She's irritated at Briar. But Briar also says the general has his favorites and that she isn't his first and won't be his last. So while, yeah, Briar was sort of being a dick, but also, again, if that's accurate, which it seems to be, because Narissa, we know, was one of his favorites and got this training.
Narissa seems to not like her. Like, Narissa's got some feelings.
To be fair, she doesn't.
I still don't know though. Like, she seems to have her feelings, but there's a moment later that I'm like, she comes across as a bitch, but also it sort of could have protected her. So I'm like, again, I don't know. We're not getting enough.
When she says that she's not ready for combat?
If
Yeah.
you know how we had the theory that Larik is not in game, maybe she knows something about him and she's trying to protect them from getting together.
You think she's like a double agent?
I don't know what she is, but
I don't know.
and she could be awful. I have no, because I trust nothing I'm getting on any of these characters at this point.
Agreed. Yeah, it's hard to read. It's hard to read them.
And so she could end up being awful. She could end up being against Fia. But it was just odd because, like, everyone made it through. And while it does look mean, she's pinpointing Fia and being like, oh, she didn't make it. But also, she specifically didn't want her to go to the front. Because she said she can't go to the front because she's going to get killed. So if you want her dead, send her. So to me, it's like, if she hated her that much, she'd be like, yeah, send her to the front. If she truly thought that's what was going to happen. So in a way, it was like almost protecting her to not send her to the front, which they end up going, like, I'm assuming they're going to go to the front at some point. But
I don't know. She's on a horse right now.
I don't know. But yeah, so it's like, I don't know. Again, I don't get a solid read on like any character in here. I feel like the best read I have is Asta. Because she's consistent in her, she's pretty consistent in her behavior. Like,
I'm interested in how Duskbound is going to end up. Like, well, actually, I mean, I'm very interested in how this last little bit is going to go. And
I feel pretty good about
going
Ma.
into Duskbound.
I feel like Ma's going to stay loyal to Fia no matter what, even though they had that tiff, because they do come back
but that
together.
whole thing at the end when she made her that.
Yeah,
that
I
thing.
think Ma's going to end up playing a bigger role. But so anyway, so we go. Where were we? I don't even know where we were. Oh geez, I've lost my place.
So she goes to.
She goes to the dinner.
Briar basically
Briar's being a
is
dick. Yeah. So, well, but I was, when he was talking about the favorites though, I was like, is the general just collecting superpowers though? Is that like?
Yes.
I'm like, that
That's
is like X-Men.
That's what I'm getting. We're
Like,
going
I feel like he's
anywhere.
just collecting like the cool toys. Like he's just
Professor
like.
X.
But Fia leaves. Asta's apparently like wandered off, so she leaves to go find Asta. Asta's over in a corner making out with Nazul.
Good going, girl. I'm proud of you.
She's like, I got a new job and a new guy.
She's living her best life right now.
So
Times are good.
The world is falling apart. Races are happening, and she's just like,
Life is short.
Sophia drags her away, and they go home, but Rain stops her on the way to apologize to her over the blabbing. Fia tells her she can make it up to her by pretending that what happened in the woods never happened, because that's what the general wanted her to do, was make sure that everybody just kind of like pretended that was not a thing, which Rain agrees to. She like clocks pretty quickly that like they need to keep that on the DL. Asta ends up defending when they get back to the apartment. She defends Nazul to Fia and basically says she's going to keep seeing him and that she's wrong about him and that she's talked to him every night since the incident in the woods, and then like she feels confident in her read on Nazul and he's a good guy. And Fia finally relents with just the warning of like he better not hurt her, which, you know, like that's fair.
Yeah.
Like, because she knew him when he was like dealing with Baylor, and she knows Baylor's like the worst.
Yeah.
So, but I do think Nazul, from what we're seeing of him, and when he does talk to her again here in a little bit on his own, I think you're starting to see. I'm starting to trust Nazul. So hopefully he ends up being okay. So Briar ends up trying to, this is where Briar gets weird, because Briar tries to apologize the next day, but Fia says she doubts his sincerity and that Briar just suddenly doesn't seem to like her. I think she said it as like, has developed a sudden distaste for her. And I'm like, what? And that's all you get. You're just told that. And then it's just like pushed aside. So I was like, is this important? Like, what is happening with this?
So
I feel like
it's
you
gonna
wouldn't
be
have told me
over.
this if it wasn't important, but also nothing leading up to this would have told me that Briar was like gonna betray her or the enemy, but like all of a sudden he just suddenly don't like her over what?
Something seemingly pretty stupid.
Yeah. Was it over in the woods that he just saw her being a badass and now he doesn't like her no more? Like he's jealous of her powers? I don't know.
I think he's jealous.
But you don't get to see any of it.
No,
because they're
you
not going to show you that.
We're just speculating.
So, like I said, honestly, at this point, I don't trust any of the characters. I don't know. They could all just end up being bad. I don't know. They spend several more weeks training and sparring. Fia is getting better. She starts mastering some, like, weird karate ninja move where she climbs on their shoulders and, like, does a takedown. I was like, that's bold.
Be like, look at you, girl. You've been working on your calves.
I know. Fia starts calling Narissa, that's where she starts calling Narissa blood clot, which I cackled. I was like, I don't know where, I had to make sure I didn't miss anything because it just came out of the blue. Mm-hmm. We got no internal monologue or anything of her deciding to call her that.
Raven's not blood clot, but she is. Anyway, go ahead.
So Asta moves out and Fia then moves into the compound, sharing a room with Rain.
Which we're just
hearing about.
No tearful goodbye, skirted right past that
tearful
one.
goodbye. Oh, miss my furniture. Here I am.
She
says she made up with Briar, but that the discomfort lingers.
He's being petty.
Why are we being even told this? Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm like, what even is that? That was my exact note.
Like,
what even is that?
I get like when you have like a weird moment happen with friends and you don't really know like, okay,
where
like,
you're
do I
at.
say something? Do I not? Like, you know, like, do we just keep going? Like, I mean, I get like that, but like she's making it out like it's more than that. But
Yes.
What a weird.
But
thing.
again, you're getting no actual interaction between the two of them for you to read into any of it on your own.
Yeah.
So Asta moves out. Sophia ends up. This is where she drools over Mercer and Lyric sparring for like a whole scene. After they announce that they will be.
Doesn't seem cute to me though. I feel like they're trying to force us to believe that Lyric's hot, and he's just not.
After they announce that they're going to be blindfolded to simulate the darkness that happens when you're battling the wraiths. So they're all to face off with Lyric while blindfolded. During Fia's turn, the general ends up like taunting her and makes her go again and again and again, like way longer than anybody else. She eventually starts using her magic and like sending out tendrils to figure out where he is, because she can use it to like not really see in the dark, but like see in the dark, I guess.
And I guess we just know that.
But again, this was like a little bit unbelievable because he's the general and she's blindfolded, but she managed to take him down completely and pin him on top. I'm like, okay.
And then he's like, cheater. And I'm like, how did he know? He doesn't know what you can do.
She don't even know what she can do. So now this is elevated even more, right? She went from
like, yeah, that thing happened in the woods, but controlling someone's mind is very different than like seeing in the dark.
But now we know she can control someone blindfolded. Like she knows she can see.
I know where you are.
So while she's pinning him down, he's staring at her all dark and intense. And then when he gets up, he whispers that she was a cheater, all flirty. And then he leaves with Blood Clot, who's wrapping her arms around his waist. And so then Fia...
Now I'm really wondering about her. Now you've got me like...
Fia's mad because he left with Blood Clot, but she was all hot.
What is he seeing her?
Yeah, so she goes...
I was like, that's a very not Fia sentence, but okay.
So she goes back to her room to relieve some tension. And then she wakes up, and there's like these war horns going off. She runs out and meets up with the others as they are like moving through the compound. They end up splitting up, and Fia ends up going with Nazul. Nazul uses his...
We know why. Because Rain and Briar take off. And
Yeah.
Briar was like, I don't want to be with her. And he just grabs his biffle.
His biffle.
It's like he's jealous. Like, I don't want her being besties with Rain. I don't know.
It
It's
seemed
really
like
weird.
him being upset stemmed from the fact that Rain agreed with Fia.
Yeah.
I think that's. I mean,
And
I don't even think it
he's
has
like
anything
taking
to
that
do.
personal.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but like I've had like boys that are friends, and they're different than your girls that are friends.
Yes.
Your girls are just your girls.
Yeah.
And even if I'm kind of thinking that Briar's gay, even if he's your gay best friend, it's still not a girl.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, but he's jealous right now, and he's pissing me off.
We're all confused.
He's petty right now. That's what he
Right
is.
now. We're confused, but not on the level of John Wayne Gates. We're not that confused.
You're gonna tell me when you watch that. Oh my
I know.
gosh.
I'll get Justin to watch it with me.
That was wild to me.
Nazul ends up using his shield to protect the both of them, and then Fia's like trying to use her magic to like find their way through, and she's like trying to find the wraiths because that's what they assume has happened is the wraiths have invaded the compound. But in the darkness, Fia's magic like is like reaching out and grabbing at nothing. Like she can't find anything, and she's feeling pretty frustrated because she's like, okay, my magic is useless, because she was hoping she was going to be like helpful with the wraiths, and now she's feeling like her magic is useless against the wraiths. And on the flip side, Nazul's able to like expand his power. He's figured out how to like shield from like a distance.
Good
And-
job, Mizzle.
I know. And he ends up helping
He's
her.
like, listen, I saved you. Can I date your sister?
He does. He like rescues her, helps her. They get to the control room. Once they make it back to the control room, it's announced that it was all just a training exercise and done with like illusions and wind wielders and
I'd
whatever.
have been pissed.
Blood.
I'm like, my ribs are cracked, homie.
I would have been pissed too. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I think I'm pretty sure I would have. I've been
I would
like,
have been upsetty spaghetti.
I've been like, peace out.
How
Vulgar
dare you
gesture.
say me?
I'm pretty sure when that happened, my mouth kind of dropped a little bit. I was like, okay.
But
To
it
be
did-
fair, it was a little unbelievable that the Rays could never make it, and suddenly they're all here.
And they're in the compound, all the way in the compound. But it helped me with like her. I feel better about her magic because it wasn't real. Those weren't wraiths, so I feel like her magic wouldn't have worked. It's basically a shadow. It was just darkness. It's not going to find anything.
There's nothing to grab.
There's
Right.
nothing for her magic to work on. So like that made sense that her magic wasn't working. But in the meantime, Clot claims, because they're like, congratulations, you guys all made it. And Blood Clot's over there like, Fia failed and she's not ready for combat. And then Mercer was like, well, the only goal is to make it to the control room. And she did. So she's going. She's made it through. So, and that's where like we were talking about, I don't know, like, was Narissa just being a bitch? Possibly. Was she trying to help her in some way? I don't know. Again, we don't know enough about her. We're just getting
He has
so little.
villainized her in a way that makes you wonder if she's going to have to like eat her words later.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't know, like maybe she really is being a bitch for whatever reason. It could be something as petty as she loves Lyric and she feels like Lyric's pulling his attention from her to also give it to... I feel like Lyric's going to end up being a major problem. Like I have a feeling he might end up being a villain.
Yeah.
Lyric's going to be an issue, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if he's going to end up being like the big, not like the big bad, but like like he's going to be a bad guy. I just don't know what Narissa's going to end up being. Is she going to also be a bad guy, or is she going to switch teams and she's going to be like, realize that Lyric's the bad guy and be like, fuck.
I know that we're going to switch. I know that she's going to end up switching teams because there's the tendrils and all that. There's no way that she's not. Like, I mean, I
Yeah.
feel like that's going to end up happening.
Well,
Whether or not
okay, wait.
Lyric
And if you
realizes
look at
that he's
the-
on the wrong side, remains
If you
to be
look at the whole cover of Dusk, it's called Duskbound, and the whole cover is shadows that look like wraiths.
right.
You know.
So, I mean, she's heading in that direction.
Right.
But whether or not Lyric, because, you know, sometimes you can be on the wrong side and not really realize you're on the wrong side. And so I'm like, maybe, because there's not enough that we know about the general, really, to, I mean, I feel like I neither love him or hate him. He's just this,
There.
like,
He's a dude.
he's just there. So I don't know. Like, it could be like, a very Lucian situation, you know what I mean? Where he just like, well, you know, Tamlin was my buddy, and I was just hanging out. I didn't know he was gonna do all that. You know, like, it could be like something like that.
That's Nazul with Baylor.
Yeah, like, or it could be that he's like, I knew it, and I'm the worst. So, like, I don't know. I don't know. I don't have any strong feelings about him.
So right after, since they're now initiated into the guard, then fully initiated, they have to do their final blood oath and get their new uniforms, which they make a joke about them looking like pirates and having ruffles.
Yeah. Because Rain
they're
is like,
apparently
it's
very-
because you don't fill it out like we do, you know?
So I'm
talking to
like,
Briar.
is there a corset?
Well, she did say there was like a leather vest, so I'm thinking like ruffles like up here, maybe some puffiness down here. All I could think of is a Seinfeld episode with the puffy shirt, and I was like, what are we wearing?
I'm like picturing very
I'm like, maybe we need to get Asta in here and design some good uniforms or something. I don't know.
Yeah, because that's weird.
Ruffles on a combat uniform?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Like, they should be utilitarian. That was like when the military decided to put Velcro on shit. I'm like, you know what you can hear in a silent wooded area?
That's fair.
I was like, can a man not do a button? Like, what is the problem? A zipper?
It could even be one of the little snappy buttons.
I know.
You can make that quiet.
I mean, like, I know the Marines need help sometimes, but come on. And I can say that because my first husband was a Marine.
You're like, listen, okay.
But before you come at me, wait.
They do their blood oath. They're dressed like pirates. Fia and Nazul have a heart-to-heart, and she thanks him for saving her. And he talks to her about Baylor and their past, and like that he recognizes that like Baylor's kind of not a great guy and the worst. And they just knew each other as like kids, and they had been friends. And he just kind of went along. He didn't realize how bad he'd gotten and how toxic he was. And I mean, we get that. Sometimes we have friends like that we've been friends with a long time, and then later you're like, oh, they became the worst, and I stayed too long. So, giving Nazul the benefit of the doubt here, I think now that he's away from Baylor, I think he'll be fine. Hopefully. Fingers crossed. But he also gives Fia his word that he is not out to hurt Asta and not going to hurt Asta. Mercer and Larrick show up and announce that they are being deployed. And Fia she like panics because she's like, oh no, I need to tell Ma, but also I took this blood oath, so I can't tell anybody. So she's like, you know what I could do? Destroy the blood oath. Which I'm like, how do you even know that works that way? But she just knows.
This was the scene that I was like, now I'm interested.
Yeah. So she goes to destroy it. She runs into that blonde, and she's able to use that mind control magic again. And she makes her leave and forget that she ever saw her.
And that was quick and seamless. Like, she's getting better and better at it.
Yeah, she's getting...
But I will say, because at first I was questioning, like, she didn't seem to be in a high tense situation, but she kind of is, because she's rushing.
Yeah.
So maybe she is a little emotional with that, so I take it back. So maybe she's riding on emotions.
There is some weird plant thing around the vials that's reactive. I think that will be important later. And also the Arcanites there with the plant thing. Mm-hmm. All of that,
and
I think,
they're thriving.
Yeah.
Those plants are thriving.
Also, is the blood... I mean, honestly, the blood oath is obviously a blood oath because they're also... Like, she couldn't tell it. Like, she tried to say something, I think, to Asta at one point and realized she couldn't. So it truly is a blood oath, but I feel like maybe their blood is also doing something else.
Yeah, I wonder if the blood is
plants
making the Arcanite work, or I don't know.
That's good, yeah.
Is the blood making
like maybe the blood and the Arcanite together have to work together?
Yeah, I don't know.
It's fueled by secrets.
So she
I'm just trying to figure out my charger.
runs into Larrick as she's trying to sneak out of the compound. And after arguing for a few minutes, he decides that he's going to escort her to the apothecary. That way he can guarantee that she's going to come back in time and he can bring her back to the compound. Fia gets back. Her crushing the blood oath thing worked like a champ because she tells her everything. She tells her that they're leaving for the border. She tells her about her magic. She tells her what happened in the grove and almost killing the girls, which is why she joined the guard. She tells her about the wraiths and like what can the wraiths do and what they're up against. I mean, she really comes clean. And she ends up telling her, when she's talking about the wraiths, she tells her about the suffocating that sort of happens. And Ma gets this idea, and she tells her to grab crushed whalebone, and she makes this crazy concoction, combining that with like red algae and a bunch of stuff in like a cauldron. Because it's like, and they even say it's a cauldron. And I'm like, we're getting so many different fantasy elements. Just like Planet Fitness and the gondolier and a cauldron, and we're dressed like pirates, and I don't know what's happening. But Ma has her try this, and it basically like expanded Fia's lungs so she could breathe. And Fia gets really excited because she's like, this could like save a lot of lives. And Ma then gets excited. She's immediately planning. She's like, I can bring in all these people and we can start working on this. We'll make it a priority. And she promises that she's going to like start working on that and try to get it out to them at the border. The general comes and tells her that it's time to leave, and he starts dragging her away. But when they leave, Fia's like, the compound is that way and we're going that way. And she's like, why are we going in the opposite direction? And he says he's taking her to the stables and that they're going to Emerald, which is where the king is. And the king's going to be like giving some kind of speech or a briefing. I'm not real sure. And that's where they're going. She gets no other answers from him. I guess we're going to, she even says in the chapter, she's like, maybe we'll get answers on the trip. So I'm guessing once we get on the horses, we're going to get some answers. So, but that is where we end.
I'm so sorry. I've been trying
I just see the cord just.
Sorry. My laptop charger, I can't move. I'm going to stay right like this. My laptop charger doesn't work very well. Like for instance, I can't just plug it in and it like charge. It's like, did you ever have that happen with like an old phone where you had to like it's kind of like that.
My husband's had to order me a lot of chargers. There's sort of a running joke about how hard I am on cords in this house.
Yeah. Well, apparently I am too, because I think this is like my third one. So I have to order another one. And I just keep forgetting to do it until here we are again on podcast day. This happens every week.
I'm like the Wreck-It Ralph of cords. I don't even know what I do to them because I'm not harsh with them. Like I don't do weird things to them. I don't yank them out from like a million miles away. I don't do any of those things.
I feel that. I've just been over here like, I don't know where we are in these chapters, but this thing's going to turn off.
We're done. We're done. And our next set of chapters for next week is going to be the end of the book. So you're just reading from chapter 41 until the end, and we will be finishing up Riftborne. I do feel like it's picking up in the second half of the book, which is what we were hoping for.
I agree.
The pacing's moving forward, the plot's moving forward. I do feel like we are ramping up. Like I said, I flew through these chapters.
I was too busy working on the core that I didn't get to say this, but I'm actually wondering if they are depending on the blood oaths to keep them like in line, and they're not going to know that hers isn't with it, because I doubt they do like a regular inventory.
Like a divergent situation.
That's what I'm wondering.
Interesting.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Interesting.
There's a lot of like cool ways this could go. I'm like a little scared of
the blood oath thing with the weird plant. Like that was like the moment where I was like, interesting. Like
I'm going to be really curious as we go through to the end of this book.
I can't wait to know y'all's thoughts on Larik's.
Well, I'm
also
curious to see
about the drained, because we've seen them like one time.
Who?
Wait, sorry, wrong book.
I was like, who?
I'm reading another book.
I'm like, I don't have that anywhere in my notes.
I'm reading the Poison Daughter.
Ooh, are you? I have that on my list to get. I should have picked it up while I was
Well,
out
there's the drained is in the they're like vampires, kind of. We've always seen them like
Here, like the drain.
Well, there's stuff in here where I'm wondering if they're Easter
To be
eggs
fair,
or if
she
they're not.
lost her bracelet in a drain.
Is the bracelet gonna come back?
I'm just like,
we were talking about the blood oaths, and it made me think of blood. And I was like, vampires, the drain.
You're gonna have to tell me if you liked The Poison Daughter, because it's on my list of one I want to get.
I like it so far. The main character is a very vengeful thing.
I've got 3 arcs I'm trying to like get through. I have Meg Schaefer's The Book Witch, and then I have One Small Echo, which is what I'm reading right now because it comes out I think it comes out the end of this week. It might come out tomorrow. I'm not done with it. I'm trying to hustle. I just got approved for the arc, so I'm trying to fly through it. And then I got one other one. I can't remember what the other one was.
A Thursday publication?
Yeah, well, she's indie, the One Small. Yeah, I told my husband that too. I was like, Who publishes on a Thursday? Tuesday. You publish on Tuesday.
Oh, that's the wrong tea day.
But I'm actually really enjoying it. It's very unique. It's a fantasy, and it's very unique. I'm really liking it. I think I'm like 30 or 40% of the way in, and I'm enjoying it. But I'm trying to get those. But then I just picked up the third one of the On Wings of Blood series.
Yeah.
And I'm excited for it, but I thought it was a trilogy, and it is not. It is 4 books.
I still got to read the second one, and
I really like the second one. So I was
Okay.
excited for the third, and I was like, oh, cool, they're going to be like, I already read the first 2, and the third one, I don't have to wait that long. But now I have
gonna
it, and
say.
I was like, now there's a 4th one.
Is it out like in hardback?
Yeah, I just picked it up yesterday
I'll have to go get it
on release day.
and add it to my ever-growing list.
That was mine. That's in my pile. I have a bunch I need to try to get through this month is my goal. I don't know if it's going to happen, but we're going to try.
Call
real
me.
hard.
Other than this, it's The Poison Daughter. My reading thus far has been just.
Well,
I think I've
am
only gotten
saying-
one. I did an arc. I did the auction. That's it.
I
I was
finished-
at my grandparents' house working all last week. I've just been exhausted.
I finished Dungeon Crawler Carl, the 4th one, and gosh, I love it.
I still need to read the third one.
Well, the third one's a bit to get through. You just gotta. Well, the 4th one's bigger, but he brings back the magic in the 4th one. But anywho, because of everything going on, I'm just reading Dark Ages, and I didn't realize how many pages is in that. Apparently, it's a big honking of a book, but because I'm doing it like on my phone and reading it at work, guys, it's like 800 pages. So I've got to like
this feels like it's
kind of
taking a long
devote
time.
outside of work time to read it, which I normally don't do, but that's what I'm doing. So that's what I got going on is Dark Ages and Riftborne. So when I finish Riftborne, we'll...
All right. Well, everybody, we will be finishing up Riftborne and talking about the ending, giving our star rating and our review next week. So join us, and we're going to see what happens. See everybody next week. Bye.